Good morning, everybody. It's Javier, and I'm super excited to be with you here this morning. I know it's Labor Day weekend, but I think that it's important that we don't lose our edge. We don't lose our momentum, if you would, just because of one single holiday. And even though it is a holiday, as you know very well, our bills don't take a holiday. So it's important for us to continue to learn how to generate results. And so doing so, I also want to make sure that you understand a couple of things. First of all, we're going to start with our first things first. I want to remind everybody that FFS is having kind of a virtual convention, if you would, on October 2nd and 3rd, which is a Friday and a Saturday. It's free. It's broken down into 2 sessions. Sorry, 4 sessions over 2 days. And so you do have to register for each session you want to attend.
That means you're off. That means you're mute.
Just visit FFS.
No, wait.
No, I'm talking about the volume.
And do that to make sure that you are part of the entire program. It is, again, free, so just go and visit ffsconvention.com to register. Also, the binders, all of you that place an order, you're going to be receiving an email today asking for details, including the name that you want on the bottom of your actual emergency binder. Also, in case you want to put a logo in there, which I'm not going to put a logo because you should always brand yourself. Unless the logo belongs to you, I would encourage you to just leave it the way it looks on the screen. We went with A last week, which is the in case of emergency in one long sentence. So this is not the final one. The final one has the in case of emergency, one long sentence. So it's just going to have your name on the bottom. And once you get it, you cannot change the name. You cannot change anything. You would have to order a new one. I have several, and well, actually a bunch of people emailing me saying that the link didn't work to order it this Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And I was just simply, I didn't even respond. I just left it alone because, as you all know, the deadline was Sunday. And then there's nothing to it. I mean, now you have to order it for $39 when it comes out if you want to get your hands on it. So anyways, it is coming. We hope to roll it out on the 10th, but we're going to send that link to everyone today. I want to recognize our top personal producers, so we can give a round of applause for the month of August. I know this thing says September, but it's supposed to be for the month of August. Forget the September. It's for the month of August. I wanted to recognize the number 3 personal producer, Mr. Philip Estes, with 4 personal applications, Kathy Darugar with 5 personal applications, and the number 1 personal producer, Daniela Dubak, with 6.65 applications. Most of them were taken virtually, so I just wanted to commend them for a job well done and challenge everybody to do your part. Well, I want to wish Mr. George Munoz happy birthday. He's a great friend, a great leader, and producer, and all around good guy. So I wanted to wish him a happy birthday. Mr. Joseph Chung, happy birthday to you, sir. I just wanted to publicly congratulate you on another rotation around this earth, and so I'm glad that you're with us. And Mr. Anthony LeBlanc, a happy birthday as well. And so again, please do me a huge favor. I don't have a special magic ball that tells me birthdays that are coming up. I'm counting on you as leaders and you as a person that if yours is coming up or one of your teammates' birthdays coming up, please text me. Yeah, just text me so that I know we need to recognize them on our next training session. So congratulations and happy birthday to everybody for that. And so now we're going to get started. We're going to get into the how to leverage IUL policies for children. And it's pretty simple, actually. It's not a how to sell it, but how to influence people to want to buy it, which is a little different. And also at the same time, the reason this is so important is because of the fact that right now, the sale of life insurance is going up. So if you're not increasing it, something's wrong. I just delivered another children's policy yesterday. It was my first in-person delivery in a very long time. So I delivered one yesterday. I've got 3 more going into the system today. And it starts with what I call storytelling and story selling, which is something that, again, take notes. If you see anything you like here, take screenshots, because I'm not going to give this PowerPoint to anybody of the information. That's the whole point of you just being inspired. I want to inspire you on what you can do. If you're not proficient with PowerPoint, well, become proficient with PowerPoint. Nothing wrong with that. YouTube and a bunch of other places to teach you how to do that. You can just simply relate your story. I've been very blessed to not have a really big issue selling. And for all of you that have seen me do a roll call presentation or in front of teachers or in front of parents or just your average, mom and dad, you will always see that I don't use any corporate brochures. I don't believe in that. I think if you're relying on corporate brochures, you're just simply ill-prepared. I think it starts and it ends with you. They buy you, or they say no to you. They didn't say no to the company. They said no to you or to me. And it's important to have a story to tell. If you do not have a story to tell, borrow a story, and as quickly as possible, get your own story going so that you can understand that. And at the end of the day, we really are going to focus on, whether it be kids, adults, is elevating their overall number of assets. And I'm going to talk to you about that in just 1 second. I'll give you an example right here. Assets. Well, can you tell me what are assets? Anybody? Anybody? Come on, real quick. We got to move along.
Anything that produces income.
Okay, what else? Anything. Come on.
Anything of value.
Got it. Thank you. Thank you. Come on, somebody else. There's a bunch of you here on Facebook and on live with me.
Your house.
Okay, and we'll talk about, let's just do that. Let's just go straight into the specific way of thinking. Because remember, when you're going out there, whether you know it or not, consciously or subconsciously, I'm going to have to mute everybody because you guys don't want to play along. But okay, we'll just give you 1 second. Oh, no, we're just going to mute everybody. Nobody wants to play along today. Everybody is tired. Hold on. Also, like I said, what I'm going to do now is just talk about that here in just 1 second, because I think it is something that you as an agent always have in the back of your mind. I'll give you an example. If I'm walking in thinking that I'm going to elevate their overall level of, let's just say, retirement benefits, that's good. I mean, that's one of the things I'm after. But it's important for you. Hey, you know what? Okay, I'll be nice. Let me unmute you guys because I want your participation. I'll give you one more shot. If not, we're going to go to these pre-recorded classes, which I hate. But so let's go right into it right now. Now, let's just say when you think about what's the greatest, and you're all unmuted, number one asset, when you think about the average American, we'll just keep it within the U.S. Their greatest asset is usually what? Their
house.
Okay,
House.
Number one answer, real estate. Okay, what else?
Their job.
All right, somebody else. Come on. There's a bunch of you
What is
here.
their job?
Jewelry and paintings and art.
Their retirement account. Their retirement
Automobile.
account.
Okay, how about cash? Stocks. What else?
Of course, cash and stocks.
What else? I love that word. Of course. I like that phrase. Of course. 'Cause I'll come back to that. What else?
And
Retirement
Life
account.
insurance. Life insurance.
Okay. Let's just call it bonds, policies. Absolutely. Now, here's what I want you to focus on, and this is where sometimes we go just a little bit wrong. We classify this under what are called financial assets. Does that make sense? I mean, that's the number one. You guys just, as you can see, read it almost word for word right out of the PowerPoint, and you're absolutely right. Now, here's where I want you to start to think. This is something that helped me back in 2006 really gravitate towards from mediocre personal production to a much higher level of personal production and a dramatic increase in my team's production as well. Because you just answered what every single financial planner, every single life insurance agent, what most people would think right there. Now, let me rephrase that question. What is the greatest asset you have in your life right now on this earth? What is it?
Health.
What is it?
yourself.
My health.
Okay, what else?
Health.
No, what else?
Family.
Family, health, values, heritage, talent,
Time.
and of course, and then so we classify that under what's referred to as human assets. And the reason that I say this is because there's still a third classification of assets that I want you to think about, which are more the intellectual assets. And there's where we house our wisdom, which is what? Our experiences times the amount of time we've been on this earth. We also have our knowledge. We also have our experiences, good and bad, education, reputation, and many other things. And here's a question that I have for you before I meet everybody and we get going. If somebody told you that you had to give one of these three set of assets up, you had to literally lose one forever, bankrupt one of the three, which ones would it be?
Knowledge.
Of the three, human, intellectual, or financial assets, you have to give it up.
Financial.
Intellectual.
Financial, of course. I mean, but yet that's where we all started. And it kind of tells you where we have our mindset as it relates to when we speak to people, the assets we want to protect, the assets we want to grow, the assets we want to keep. And it doesn't make a lot of sense sometimes when in reality, all of you said, except somebody wanted to give up the wisdom. I don't know why, but everybody.
I was giving it away.
Oh, okay. And so as you can see here, the reason we say give up the financial one, it's because with human assets and intellectual assets, we can have the third one back. I mean, I don't know if you've been that lucky, if maybe you're a trust fund baby, but I've had to rebuild from scratch on 2 occasions in my lifetime that I never in a million years thought I would have to do that. And if you're so big and you're so wealthy and you think you will never have to rebuild in your lifetime, you're being naive or you're a fool, because of the fact that life is cyclical. Everything we do is cyclical. And so therefore, I place a hell of a lot more emphasis on the first two, because I know with the first two, I can get number 3 back ASAP. But yet when we go in there, we sometimes focus on just the financial assets, where if you really dig into the person and you speak with them and you talk to them from the heart and to their heart, it's amazing how a lot of the times they'll answer the exact same thing. They thought the financial assets is where it's at, when in reality, it's not. And so that's why you have to do that. And so it's the same whether I'm talking to a cop, a cook, a waiter, a teacher, a doctor. It doesn't matter. If they're human, they're going to fall into this category. And now we have a much different conversation at a much different, higher level when we both agree that while money is everything, it's not everything. And so it's very important to know that. But at the same time, you cannot minimize it. Remember, money is up there with oxygen. It ranks up there with oxygen because it dominates so much of our life. But there are things that are still even more important. And so I just want to show you how right now, like I told you, I just did 5 of the, hold on one second. I don't know who. Oh, somebody. Hold on. And so anyways, I'm sorry, I gave it the wrong one. I don't know why. We have a new person here. I hope you was able to get in. And so anyways, like I said, it's important for you to keep the main thing the main thing. And so many times we lead with the financial assets. We have a mini debate with their clients about the financial assets, when in reality, that's not what gets people moving as much as when you really, really dust off what matters the most in their life. It's going to go right back to the human assets every single time. And so I just want to show you how I sell. This is my 5th kids policy that I'm going to, or application I'm going to submit. And every single one of them is based on what I'm going to share with you right now, which is my personal story. You should have your personal story. You know, one of the things that I've been adding to my story lately is the reality about life insurance. And so many, you know, you all know my dad and my 2 brothers were battling, and thankfully they beat the coronavirus. But unfortunately, this past Saturday, after the webinar, my dad passed away. You know, he just he couldn't breathe on his own. They took him off the ventilator, and he ended up passing. And so, you know, that's another lesson. That's another lesson that you would be extremely selfish to not share with people, for the simple fact that it could be any of us at any time. Any other disease, doesn't have to be that. And that's why I'm so passionate about this binder, because, you know, we went from him being able to take phone calls in the beginning to no phone calls, to a ventilator, to not clue what the hell's going on with anything, to passing away. And so if you're too afraid to bare your soul to others, this is not a business you're going to thrive in. I'll tell you that right now, because you have to be in the position to be able to relate to people, and for people to know that you're being sincere and that you do something most people don't do, which is open up with the truth. And I think that will get you 90% of the way there. And so anyways, we're going to talk about how to leverage this, how I do it. And this is just my story. Again, don't ask me for the PowerPoint. Don't ask me for anything. You have a phone, you can take pictures, you can take screenshots, you can do whatever you want. But I don't give it to anybody, because, you know, you got to work for it. And so anyways, I just want to real quickly go into it. Now, I am going to unmute you guys again, because I have a very simple question. And I just want to see where you stand as it relates to some of the things that, in my opinion, are very important to your success. And so here's what I have for you. This is a book called Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. How many people here have heard of it?
Oh, yeah,
Of
really?
course. Yes, yeah.
Okay, and how many people have studied it?
Yes.
Okay, who can tell me step 1 in the process of achievement according to Napoleon Hill? What is it?
When's the last time I opened the book?
If you don't know that, you might as well tell yourself you haven't read it.
You got to be focused on what you want.
Desire.
There you go. Thank you. As it relates to this, everything starts. The starting point of all achievement is desire. If there's no desire for what you're selling, you're wasting your time and you're wasting other people's time. And so if I'm walking in with an IUL and I'm selling IULs, and the person, first of all, has no clue what the hell an IUL is, and therefore has no desire for an IUL, it's called wasting time. It's called a very low closing ratio. Now, let me back up because I don't want you to think that. Let me go back over here just 1 second and see if I can pull this up to share something with you. Let's see, go with the other one. Hold on 1 second. And here. Well, thank you for your condolences. I appreciate that. Thank you. Here's what I wanted to show you. Oh, or do for you, because I mean, I'm shocked that everybody loves to brag about the book, but yet we can't recite step 1, which is literally on page 1. That's shocking. And so your homework, not for my sake, for your sake, by the way, is to go back and please read it. We've given this book away so many times that I always tell people, look, I like to run with several people. Kathy's one of them. I can tell you that Kathy and I were soulmates as it relates to how I see her think, as I relate to what I see what she posts, and I'm like, damn, that's right in my alley, man. This girl's good. And so the point that I'm making is that I'll tell you right now, I don't run with people unless I know that we are on the same sheet of music as far as anything. But if you can't tell me that desire is the starting point of all achievement, I mean, go back and read the book. So what I'm going to do, again, let me see if I can just pull it up here real quick and give it to you. Let me see if I can just pull it up. All right, let's see if it's pulling it up as we speak. I'm just looking for exact name. My God, I'm shocked. Let me go look over here.
Javier, you gave us a whole library of books. I mean, tons of them. The Science of Getting Rich, all of them.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. That I'm asking everybody, don't go around trying to sell anything until you read this, because it's going to lead to unfortunately, it might lead to you questioning yourself, and that's when we get in trouble. It's not that we don't deserve it. It's just that sometimes we're not prepared. We're just simply not doing our part. And so let me just go and see if I can pull it up here. Thank you, we're rich. Thank you. All right, so I'm trying to pull it up as we can, because I'm not going to give it to you later. Let's see. Think and Grow Rich. All right, so what I'm going to do now, if you check your chat box, everybody has it. Everybody has it right there. It's in your chat box. Just open it, save it, and it's right there in the group chat. So the way you get there, on your menu, there might be 3 little dots at the top of your Zoom bar. Click on chat, it's there. If you don't get it, don't ask me for it. Please don't text me or email. I'm not going to send it to anybody. I just don't have that kind of time. So anyways, right now you should have been well versed and be able to recite at least chapter 1, for God's sakes. I'm not asking about the end of the book. I'm talking about the beginning. So everybody brags about, they think just because they read the cover, it's going to somehow through osmosis enter their soul. And it doesn't work that way. So anyways, let's just move forward with that as well. So desire. So if I'm talking to somebody, before I sit down and break out my laptop and start running numbers, I need to find out, where they stand as it relates to their kids or maybe their grandkids. And I'm going to show you the next cell. Well, not the next cell, because I've got a bunch of other cells to submit, but one of the upcoming cells on, like, give or take October 20th, a new cell is going to go into the system, a new application on my part, personal production. And here's the way that it starts. We said that the starting point of all achievement is desire. And this is how this policy that's not going to be submitted until October 20th was sold. This is my daughter in the middle. She's my middle daughter. She's the RN. She's a registered nurse over at Riverside, working in the ICU. She just went on maternity leave because her baby is due October 4th. Now, a baby has to be at least 14 days old in order to qualify for an IUL. So I have to wait till around the 20th to submit this application. And for me, what I'm sharing with you, if you have a child or a grandchild, I hope that you open up your heart for the next couple of minutes and just hear my story and understand how this came about. It started with her becoming pregnant, number 1, of course, and then number 2, when I was sitting there. And when I was sitting there, watching kind of what you're watching right now, it just, reminded me of the great responsibilities that we have as parents. And in the case that many times young parents cannot say for whatever reason, then we need to step in as a grandparent. Otherwise, we're just a waste of a grandparent if we're not leveraging all that wisdom that we've collected throughout the years. I ask people all the time, especially grandparents, Have you ever wished you would have started saving sooner or gotten your IUL at 18 or, whatever? Oh, yeah, of course, yes. And I completely get all that. But the question and the point that I want to make to you is that if you don't take all that wisdom and put it into action as a grandparent, then you're part of the problem. Or at least don't go around saying how much you love your children or your grandchildren and all that other stuff, because I will do whatever it takes to make sure that I can fund my grandchild's IUL, because I just simply want to give them a better shot at life. It doesn't guarantee anything, but it most definitely gives us a better shot at them having a better life as well. One of the biggest reasons in this country that parents and grandparents don't do this for their children or grandchildren, why do you think it's the number one reason? And I'm going to unmute everybody, so speak up real quick. What is the number one reason grandparents and parents don't do it? What's the number one reason?
They don't know about it.
Part of it, but they know about 529s. They know about savings accounts. They know about a lot of stuff.
They think they can't afford it.
Okay, you said a very good word. And we'll hold that thought. And so what is the number one reason?
They're living paycheck to paycheck and don't have the money.
Okay, I agree with you. They don't have the money. But what is it? There's still one. And until you take this to heart, does it mean everybody's in this boat? No, but the vast majority.
They think they have enough time to do it later.
That's the biggest lie I've told myself, which I have plenty of time, which, yeah, you're right. I'll give you an example. I have my other granddaughter, my first granddaughter. I started one for her. You guys seen that? Zoe, a million times. When I told her mom and dad, and the first thing they said when she was born, we really got to start saving for her. She just turned 3 and they haven't started the damn savings account, just so you know. So they lost the most precious 3 years as far as compounding of money is concerned, and they're still waiting to get started.
I believe we haven't showed them the benefits.
Okay, but when you do show it to them, for most people, they still say no. Not now. What's the number one reason? I'll give it to you. Anybody else? You guys have great thoughts, please.
Because they don't think children need to be insured.
But do they think that children need savings?
Do not need to be insured.
No, you're right. But what I'm saying is that, but beyond that, if you ask them, do you think you should have a college account for your children?
Then they would say yes.
So what is it? And I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. This is you and I. It's just literally between you, me, and that lamppost outside. What is it? And the answer is, well, let me ask you a reason. Why do most adults don't have, and I'm not talking about an IUL by IUL, I'm talking about a savings account, a systematic way of saving money. Why do most people don't have one?
Procrastination greatly.
You're almost, all of you, thank you. And the answer that I'm getting at, based on the literally thousands upon thousands of people that I've dealt with, is that they have their priorities all screwed up. They've got kids that don't have college funds, but guess what? They have the newest tennis shoes, the best brands, cell phones now, for God's sakes, iPads now. We're talking about, the Nintendo Switch and the Xbox and this. So what I'm saying is that for most people, and again, I'm not judging them. I'm just simply explaining to you is that the priorities are screwed up. We fund and we pay for things like it's nothing. I've been on my daughter's butt, the one that I'm showing you right now, this one, that, she's have to have her, she's making over 100 and something thousand as an RN. And I'm telling you, you better be saving at least 400 to this and say, oh, we're just getting ready, we're getting started, and boom, before you know it, they're spending it on something else. Whether it be a new car, they just got a new car, or a new ATV. Our priorities are screwed up. It's not a lack of money, it's a lack of proper priorities in this country. And so your job is to just walk in there and hit them, not on the logical side of the house, but on the emotional side of the house. And as you can see, when I'm looking, literally, when I'm sitting there, we went to this, I don't know what the hell to call it. It looks like a little movie room, but they have a projector and they're projecting the ultrasound, and then they're doing the 4D and all that. I'm thinking, man, here we go again. It would have been nice if my parents saved up for me. They did not. I did not start with my children until they were older because I did not know. And at the same time, I didn't have my priorities straight. And then I said, I'm not going to allow that to happen for the next generation. And thankfully, I was able to push all my kids through the education. I was able to push them through their college. They don't owe a penny in student loan debt. And I told them, I will back you 100%. I don't care if you want to be a doctor, a surgeon. I will back you. I will pay for every single penny, housing, anything. I'll pay for your car. I'll pay for their cars. I'll pay for their insurance, anything. Just focus on, please, giving yourself a fighting chance. And thankfully, they all took me up on that offer. And here we are. But I'm not going to allow that to happen for my grandchildren, because I'm looking at my children. They're not saving anything. They're not saving any. It's not acceptable. But at that age, I cannot, unfortunately, whip their butt and make them start saving money. I can't do that anymore. That area is gone. And so therefore, I'm waiting for them to do that for their kids. I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to do it myself. I think that's what we were placed on this earth for as grandchildren, to help them, raise them, love on them, but also understand that in this society that we're in, money's going to dictate a good portion of that. Literally, people are hanging by a string due to college debt, student loan debt. Unbelievable amount of money. All of it because at some point, somebody didn't start saving for that education. That's just one of them. How would you like to help your kids? I'm helping my daughter right now, getting to her home, helping her buy a home, go from renter. We know that it makes more sense to buy than rent. How the hell do you do that when you don't have the money and they don't have the money and nobody has the money? Go, you do what you can. I think that's part of our overall legacy as parents and grandparents. At the end of the day, nothing else really is going to matter as much as that right there. And so anyways, so here's what having said that, that's my story that I tell people. And let me show you how doable it is. Let me show you how doable. Now, I don't know what kind of price you would pay on your child's future, but obviously there is a budget. I mean, you can't say I want to save $10,000 a month for them. I mean, who the hell wouldn't want to do that? But again, everybody here is unmuted. If I was to ask you, let's just pretend you have a newborn child, a grandchild. What do you think you can save to give them a fighting chance and to more than anything do secure your legacy as a grandparent, as a parent? That you just didn't raise your child, but you raised your child, but also saved for your child, because life doesn't end at 18. It actually begins. And if you want to see them slaving away just because of the fact that they cannot go to college without either a ton of student loan debt, or as many people do, they just don't go. Our community, and by that I'm talking about in the Hispanic community, we're notorious for that. Now, we will throw a party when a girl turns 15 called a quinceañera, which is kind of like the sweet 16. Man, we will throw money like it's nothing. 15,000, 20,000, no problem. But not even one penny towards college. And it just become a self-fulfilling prophecy. And that's true as the nation. Because if it's not a quinceañera, it might be a sweet 16, might be some other crazy thing. But again, I'm not telling you how to spend your money. But when you really think about it, we have the opportunity to do that. Now, everybody's unmuted. If it was your child, your grandchild, even today, I don't care about how good or bad it's going. Today, what do you think you could afford, even if you had to pick up a second job, without doing that? But what do you think you can afford to give them a fighting chance, knowing that you will not lose your money, knowing that you are going to at least double your money, knowing that you have full control over this, that if your child tells you to go pound sand, I'm not going to college, then you keep the money and you go to Vegas, or you go to Hawaii, you blow it out. It's your money. What do you think you could do on a monthly basis? Anybody?
Well, I don't have children or grandchildren,
Sure.
but if
Sure,
I did, it would be, $100 a month.
Sure. Okay, call it $100 a month. What, anybody else, please?
$50 a month.
Okay, 50. Anybody else?
Yeah, I would go with Kathy, $100 a month.
Okay, and I'll show you those two. Anybody else? Nobody else cares about their kids? 50 cents. Come on, anybody? Nobody else.
Yeah, 100 has already been
Okay.
said.
100. And here's the best part. Anything else we do, we always, and I'm not saying most of the time, I will tell you, we always grow into it. And so now there are several ways to do it. You can either front end load it, meaning that you can go ahead and prepay for this whole thing by the time your kid is 15, or you can just go ahead and take the other route. Just call it $100 a month. Now, I have to ask you this just to show you kind of where we're at and where people's mindset is at, because that's where you will ultimately, how well you influence people will be determined by how well you get into the psyche. Now, let me ask you a question. $100 a month, what do we spend $100 nowadays on? $100. What do we spend $100 on?
Cell phones.
Okay,
Starbucks.
so what else?
Cable.
Okay, now we'll start with the ones that I think are like important. The communication, cell phones, I get it. $100. Okay, great. I spent a lot more than that because I have a bunch of phones. But yeah, call it 100. But that's I'll let that fall into the business. And so we have what else?
Going out to dinner.
I mean, last night I went and delivered a policy. Like I said, it was over $100 just to deliver when I delivered the policy because they're dear friends. But at the same time, there goes $100. Absolutely, dinner. What else?
Starbucks.
Yeah, I mean, if you add up what Starbucks goes for, people tell me times are tough. Oh, people can't spend money. Nobody has money. Well, hell, go to Starbucks and look at that drive-through. People begging,
Yeah.
begging to take. I mean, have you seen the lines at these places? Because I
Yeah,
can't
it's
walk into
ridiculous.
the office. I can't walk into the office with a AM PM cup. It has to be Starbucks, and I'm not going to walk in because you know how I show my power and how rich I am by calling ahead. Who wants a macchiato? Anybody want? And you walk in with your little tray of $38 just because you had to impress people you don't even like. And so, absolutely, coffee. What else? Now, this is a conversation that I'm having with you. I'm not naming you, but I'm having it with you. And people can ignore the request to respond, but they cannot ignore the question. So if you're having this kind of question with your people, with your prospects, you're going to get a lot farther. Don't go on until they answer, because when they answer, it becomes real. What else do we spend money on nowadays?
Immediate
For some people,
gratification.
it's alcohol.
Okay, I mean, that's a tough conversation to have with a lot of people. We were at this restaurant yesterday in their patio, and it's amazing how every single table, it's not a sports bar, it's a restaurant, but every single table had not one, but multiple drinks, alcoholic drinks. I mean, you know what these things go for? They're not the cheapest thing around. I mean, but whatever, I don't care, but the point is we do have it. And then have enough drinks, and the people start fighting over who pays for the whole damn tab. I mean, it's incredible. We'll go spend money on other people like it's nothing, but yet we're not doing it for our loved ones. Has anybody heard of this place called Costco? I don't know if you heard of it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, you go there because it's, quote, cheap, and the pizza's only $1, right? But then you come out of there with what? What do you spend on a typical trip?
$300.
300.
Like,
300.
it's nothing.
Yeah, call it
Yeah.
the $200 club.
No, I mean, like anything. We went this past Tuesday. I went with Marcella, and I'm like, well, because we usually go on Fridays. I'm like, all right, it's Tuesday, bored. We're bored. Let's just go. What are we here for? What do we need? No, just to look around. My ass. I know what's going to happen. Even though you don't need anything, you're not there for anything specific. You come out of there with $250, $300, like it's nothing. Nothing. And so what I'm saying is that your job as an advisor is to do that, advise people, to search their little, mindset, to see where they stand, where they prioritize things, and that they do have a lot more than they don't know where the hell it's at. That's a whole different ballgame. And so when people say, yeah, I just don't know where my money goes, I believe you. I don't have any money at the end of the month. I believe you. But I'll give you an example of what I'm doing for my soon-to-be grandson. All right, and this is just what I'm going to be submitting hopefully on October 20th. And as you can see at the top, I'm submitting on age 0. That's really when you, at any age is good, but ideally if you catch them at age 0, I'm paying $100. Now, I'm paying $100 a month, but I always prepay the annual premium. So that means that I'm paying $1,200. And so what I tell people is, look, listen, how much do you average? Let me unmute you guys because I want to hear from you guys. You need to believe this stuff. Otherwise, you're just going to be here being entertained, and I'm not in that business. What do you think the average person, the average family, the household gets in income tax refunds every year? What do you think is the average?
2,000. 2,000.
But somebody needs to work on their numbers because it's in California.
5,000.
What is it?
5,000.
5,000 is the average. $4,800 is the average refund in California. 4,800. Now, here's what I ask people: whatever the refund might be, 2,000 or maybe. Well, by the way, first of all, congratulations. I think that was you, Keith, on this coming Tuesday's payday. Don't say any numbers, but congratulations. I just wanted to say that. Marcella
Thank you.
watches the commissions like a hawk, as she said. She's like, you see Keith is getting this Tuesday? I'm like, what? Congratulations. Great job. So she's on top
Thank
of it.
you.
But like having said that, now let's just say you get $4,000 or whatever number that might. When you ask your prospects, like I'm going to ask you, how much of that refund that you received on average is still around a month later? What percentage? None. That's the easiest way to put it. It's gone. It comes and it goes. What if you got 5,000? What if you just took 1,200 out of it in one fell swoop? Because you know it's going to disappear anyways, and you didn't have a monthly bill. You just simply took it from your refund. So it's not even interrupting your monthly cash flow. And if you do that, or you pay monthly, doesn't matter. I pay yearly just because I don't like to have bills. But here, I'm paying $1,200. Now here's the part that I want you to see. Right there, the first year, after just 1 year, you've paid $1,200, yet you have $630 already in the form of cash value. Now that will get you a $343,000 life insurance policy for your child. Now, obviously, number one thing here is the face amount in case your child passes, which the insurance company knows the chances of that happening are slim to none, and Slim is on vacation. And so therefore, the reason this should matter to you, because it also affords what are called living benefits, meaning that if your child comes with a terminal, a critical, or chronic illness, you can actually advance your money or the face amount to help out during those tough times. Maybe allows you to stay home. Can you imagine your child is sick and you can't stay home with him or with her because you have to work? Whereas here, you can tap into $343,000 for you can stay home with your child, nurse your child back to health, and then go back to work. That's the beauty behind it. Now, in this example, for my grandson, at age 3, which is technically the 4th policy year, I'm going to bump that up to $2,400 a year, which is $200 a month. And then, of course, from there, at age 10, I'm going to bump it up to $3,000 a year. And then by the time my grandson turns 16, I never pay anything again. This plan is fully funded, and so is your legacy as a grandparent. Let me show you what I mean. Would you like to help your child go to college? Of course you would. Now, if it turns out that your child, let me just show you how much money we're talking about. Here, in this plan, I paid a total of $25,400 in total premium. If you add up all those premiums, that's what I paid out of pocket, and I never pay again. But check this out. Just the year that I stopped paying at 16, there's already $50,000 in the plan. So that means that the money has doubled. Now, think about this for just 1 second. If for whatever reason my child decides not, like if you look at age 18, 19, there's $60,000 to help offset or pay for the expense of college. Or if hopefully my grandson qualifies for a scholarship, I can take this money and use it to help him buy a home. At age 25, he has $83,000. And the best part is that I control this whole thing. I control the whole thing. He doesn't touch the money. He cannot touch anything without me approving it. And so if he turns out to be a knucklehead, I'll just simply take this money and roll it over into my other grandchild's fund to help them get even further down the road in life. Now, this is what's called front-end loading. Now, why is this front-end loading so important? Well, I'll come back to it in just 1 second. Now, here's another option. Everybody here said it. I think $100 is just not what it used to be, but it's so doable. Now, here, you have $100 a month, which is $1,200 a year, which gives us $165,000 of face amount. And if you notice this, by the time this kid turns 18, there's $32,000. And we were just always paying those $100 a month. Now, if the kid turns 20 or goes to school or whatever the case might be, the money continues to grow. So here's what I would tell people to do. When your kid's out of college, they take over the whopping $100 a month, and they continue to do this. If they continue to do this until they were, let's just say 65, a total of $36,000 in premium was paid at age 30. I'm sorry, this is at age 30. So let's just say you want to help them buy a home or whatever the case might be. You paid $36,000, yet there's $86,000 in there that you can literally just cash out at that point and buy that home, and you're done. Now, if they continue to pay the whopping $100 a month, they can increase it, of course, but let's just say they never did. By the time your child is, or grandchild is 67 years old, they have over $1 million in cash. Or if they don't want to do that, they just simply get $77,000 a year income tax free until they die. All of it because of the legacy you set up. So this is just a straight $1,200 that the parents can start, and then the child picks up and finishes off. Now, I'm going back to the front-end loaded one. Why do you think the front-end loaded one would be appealing to some people? Why?
Grows faster.
First of all, as you can see, if you do the math, you will get a hell of a lot more bang for your buck if you do this, of course. And would start. So we do grow into the $100 a month or $1,200 a year. They do that. The $2,400 they can still do from their tax refund. The $3,000 they can still technically do through their tax refund. And that's a great. So it grows faster from a financial perspective. Makes more sense if you could talk them into a higher amount. Now these are the same parents that will tell you sometimes, I don't know if I can afford 100 or 200 a month, but they will go out there and drop 600 a month into an RV that loses value like you wouldn't believe. I mean, that's just where the mindset is. So don't fight it. Go with the flow. Don't fight it, because they will resent you and they will throw you out of their house if you're that direct. But you have to be honest with them also about how doable it is. Now, what's another reason, especially for grandparents? Why do you think this is so important? If they can afford, of course, to front-end load it. Why?
Because they can stop
The
paying after.
ability for it to compound and stop paying it sooner.
First of all, in case they have another grandchild like me, right? They can do that. What's another reason? And I'm just getting you to think. That's all. There's no wrong answer.
They don't know how long they'll be around.
Thank you. Because of the simple fact that I know if I front-end load it this way, first of all, I know that hopefully I'm around to finish this part in 15 years from now. But if I'm not, the parents or the kids might not finish the whole thing out, and it doesn't really serve its purpose. I want it to be fully funded while I know I'm going to be around, while I know I have the money, and most importantly, even if I'm not around, the way I have my estate set up is that I have portions of one life insurance policy designated to do nothing but fund anything I haven't finished that I planned out specifically to the year or when I need it to be funded, and then the rest goes right back to Marcella on top of that. So I know it will be done, because grandparents want to see that the work will be finished. And we can't promise them that if they, pass away unexpectedly, we don't know what's going to happen. And so therefore, absolutely, when you sell it to them that their work will be completed one way or the other, they are a lot more likely to do this, whether it's $100 a month, $1,200 a year, or whether it be what I'm showing you right now. Now, don't underestimate the power of a parent or a grandparent's love. They will switch things around in their life to make this work. They will do things for the kids they wouldn't even do for themselves. But I mentioned in the email that this is an excellent way to upsell, side sell, etc. Because a lot of the times, as you know, parents have to have something, even if it's just a term policy with anybody, to qualify for this. So it gives you an excellent opportunity to do that. Because what I tell everybody, I just delivered a policy, like I said yesterday, and it started with policies for the kids when I explained to them that no, the best way to take care of your child is not with an IUL for them, it's an IUL for yourself. Because if they pass away, there's no financial hardship. If you as a breadwinner pass away, it's a terrible financial hardship. So we start with one parent, then of course both parents had to have it, so we got both parents, and now we're going through all the kids. And now this is what you would call a financially secure family with a legacy that's going to be built in. The one that I'm referring to are paying annually. So they're just following my lead. Just knock it out of the way. It sucks. Nobody wants to give up the cash. But when you know what it's going to do for others, especially your own blood, it's amazing how much more likely they are to keep it as well. So here's one thing that I will ask you, like I ask my clients. What kind of a future do you dream of for your child? And then I change it around a little bit. And when I change it around a little bit, I interject one word. I put one word in there. And I ask them, what kind of a financial future do you dream of for your child? One where they have to go on and get student loan debt, where they get screwed and tattooed for life just because we as parents or grandparents didn't save. I love my granddaughter. I have a grandson coming. And to me, it would be a travesty for them to go out there and having to get loans just because their parents didn't save for them. But it would be a double travesty to say that I didn't do my part, because I do have $100 a month that I could have saved. Or to help them with a wedding, or help them buy it. You know how hard it is for anybody to get into a home, especially a young person? I mean, my daughter was looking at, both of them are looking into homes right now that I'm helping them with get into a home. Initially, she was going to go rent one, and they wanted just a security deposit of $5,000, just a deposit, and the rent. Which, by the way, if anybody here does own a home, do yourself a favor. Go out there, if you qualify, refi your home ASAP, please. Rates have dropped below 3%. And then whatever money you save, simply throw it into your savings, whether it be retirement, whether it be life insurance. Anything is better than giving it to the damn bank. I'm doing what's called a streamline on my personal home because we're working on this to pay it off. And the reason that I went with it, because they guaranteed me that I was not going to lose any of the years that I've already paid. So I'm not going to start again, if you would. And just by doing that, saved me $350 a month. Now, I can double or triple what I pay for my grandkids because I'd rather give it to them than the bank. There's always money to be saved and to do that. So if you got your mortgage person, go there. If not, go with me. I can definitely put you in the right hands to get it done ASAP. But anyways, don't let that pass. I've never seen rates this low. I've never seen them. So anyways, and so again, what kind of financial future do you dream of for your child? And so I'm going to ask you, what kind of financial future do you see, dream of? And that's the word, very powerful word, dream. You know, most adults don't know how to do that anymore. We got that skill beaten out of us by life. You don't dream, idiot, because they're dreams, right? Bull. I believe in dreams. I sit here and dream all day long. I mean, I tell myself we have never been home this long. I'm going crazy. I'm telling her, let's just do anything. Let's go here. Let's go. Nope. Let's just wait it out. Just write off the rest of the year travel-wise. I can't. I mean, I was telling her, man, we could be having lunch right now in Hawaii. We could have dinner right here in Polygon. She wants to go back. I mean, just dream. Dream. It'll keep you young, as far as I'm concerned, as well. And so I'm going to ask you, and just humor me. Let's just say you have a young child. Maybe you have a young grandbaby. And I'm asking you a question. What kind of a financial future do you dream of for your child? Tell me about it. Anybody? Anybody?
Like you being able to have a child graduate from med school debt-free, which I've not been able to do.
That would be nice. Absolutely. I mean, because they typically get that further in life. It's not a bad. I congratulate you, by the way. I know your story. So congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
That's a hell of an accomplishment. But the point, I think, is it could always be a little better is what I'm trying to say. So don't take it the wrong way. I commend you on everything. What else? What kind of financial future you dream of?
One thing,
without so much struggle.
I mean, okay, I love that word because you're kind of ahead of the game here. I'll come right back to it. How about somebody else?
one thing that I was working on is to be able to pay my house off, so when we pass away, my daughter has a house free and clear.
Pretty cool. That's very noble. Very, very noble of you. Absolutely. Anybody else? What kind of financial future?
I don't have children, but my nieces and nephews, it'd be great for them to have what I absolutely was clueless on. And, no matter how much money they make, that they have something to fall back on, whether it's for college, whether it's for a home, whether it's to help, them with their children. Yeah, something where they're thinking of the future.
Perfect. Okay, anybody else? One more, please.
I always just, for my clients, I talk about setting up their kids for success so that they're already on the right road. So when they finish college, they don't have any debt and they can start putting money away for other things and buying a home. And when you're not thinking about debt, you're great.
Yeah, no, and you're definitely right on the money. I think that the only thing that's worse, in my opinion, this is just me, the only thing that's worse than financial struggle is unnecessary financial struggle, where it could have been prevented. And I think because of the fact that we don't drill that into our children's and grandchildren's heads enough, and we don't do that, sometimes we end up unnecessarily struggling just because either we don't know, or like I said earlier, we have our priorities all mixed up, or B, we like to live in the moment, so what we don't have cash, we make up with credit card debt. I mean, it's just simply incredible. And so I'll leave you with this, and that is that we as parents and grandparents have the power to propel our children and grandchildren forward in life tomorrow with proper planning today. Or we can also condemn them to a life of low wages and financial struggles due to our lack of action and planning. Because ultimately, the choice is ours. They can't choose at that young age, but we can. I'm opening it up to questions before we wrap it up. I have another event that I got to get ready for, but let me start by just go ahead and open it up to anybody. Questions, comments, concerns before we wrap it up. Anybody?
Question for you regarding COVID and children.
Okay. That person was unfortunately very, I don't know. Any other questions from anybody before we wrap it up?
Yes, in regards to COVID, has that changed anything regarding children and their policies?
In regards to what specifically?
In terms of qualifying for them, let's say a parent had tested positive, but they're no longer symptomatic. Does that change any rating that child might receive? Okay.
No, as long as the child is not positive, the answer is no. And they
Thank
have
you.
to be fully completed with the treatment if they are and all this other stuff. But if not, if somebody else around them has it, which in most instances somebody does, that does not prohibit them from having it. Okay? Anybody else, please? Questions, comments?
Javier,
Go ahead,
when
sir.
you write these plans on your grandkids, you're putting yourself as the owner of the policy? Is that what you're doing?
Hell yeah. Yes. And so I am the owner, I'm the agent, and you can definitely do that. So there's no issue with that whatsoever. The only other issue that would apply is if they lived with you, then you will get paid as earned. But if you don't live with them, then it's just a regular commission anyways.
Okay, good.
Thank you. Anybody else?
One question,
please?
yeah,
Sure.
regarding if the parents don't have life insurance, can you still write as a grandparent for your
No, the
grandchild?
parents are going to have some form of life insurance, even if it's term, and they are going to have to qualify for it. Otherwise, they will not give it to a grandchild.
Javier,
Go ahead.
I actually wrote a policy. If it's under $100,000 for the kid, the National Life
They will do it?
will
Okay.
allow it.
Perfect.
Yeah,
Well,
but it
thank
has
you.
to be under 100,000, and if it's usually it would be like $25 a month for most kids. But
Got
they
it.
did allow us to make the right one because the parents didn't qualify.
Okay. In 100, yeah, if it's going to be 100,000, the good news, like you said, it's going to be very inexpensive in regards to the premium. So thank you. And that's why we're here, guys. If somebody has information that's better than what I have, thank you. And so again, if it's under 100,000, they will.
One more question.
So to be clear, that means if the grandparent does not qualify for life insurance, they still can get it for their grandchild as long as the face amount is less than or equal to $100,000.
Yes, because that condition only applies to a parent having to have some insurance, or unless it's going to be under 100,000, but nothing to do with the grandparents' insurance. The grandparents are
Got
going
that.
to go to the owner.
Cool. Thank you.
Do we still need the permission of the parents?
That's a great question, and the answer is technically yes, but at the same time, I've never gotten the permission. Well, I don't want to say that and go on the record, but my kids know that I'm saving money for their kid, and they already know that they have nothing to do with it. That's another thing that I will talk to you about how to set it up properly, and they don't really know a whole lot, to be honest with you. They know there's something out there, but they don't have to sign anything. They just simply sign for the child as the applicant. And when you do it via e-app, it's just click, click, click type of thing.
Hey, Javier,
Go ahead.
in regards to the the children's policy. Oh God, I've just lost my train of thought.
Bob.
Do the policies require that the what do you call it? That the mother or the father is the beneficiary?
No, not at all. I'm the owner. I'll give you an example with my own stuff. I'm the owner. I'm the beneficiary. Marcella's the contingent beneficiary. And it ends there because after that, it'll go to our trust, not to the kids, not to my kids, not to the parents. Parents are out of it.
I got that question back now. On the beneficial interest, why do you need the parents' permission if you're the grandparent to be?
You need their permission because they have to sign for the child. The child is the insured. The insured has to approve everything.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Did you get that, Bob?
Gotcha.
Okay,
Thank you.
cool. All right.
Javier, would I be able to do my nieces or nephews?
The answer is yes. There's going to be a box that says if you're family, you just click on the box yes. It's going to ask you if you are, if you live in the same household, and then if the answer is whatever, yes or no, then you just answer that. But the answer is yes. You have to have what's called insurable interest, and the answer is yes.
Okay, great.
Anybody else?
Hey, what if the child, the parent is not the custodial parent or not in their custody, but in the custody of the grandparent legally?
Then the grandparents are the ones responsible for them. They would sign as the parents, if you would.
You got it.
The guardian. Okay. All right, guys. Well, go ahead.
I got one more question. Just in regard to the family planner, Javier, I know you talked a little bit about it, but just what was the part about we could get it where we get it with our name? That's the link that expires.
Everybody's going to get a link today, and it's going to ask you to fill out the form. It's an electronic form where it's going to ask, who do you want it to say compliments of? You put whatever name you want. You can also upload a logo if you want to. My recommendation is just leave it the way it is so that your name stands out, unless you want to put a logo, and you have to own the logo, so there's no compliance issue. But other than that, you're going to get that link later today.
Thank you very much, Javier.
Perfect.
Thanks for sharing everything. It was great, Javier.
Perfect. Thank you, guys. Well, like I said, my only intention here is to help you elevate your overall success by helping other people elevate the financial outlook for themselves and their family. That's really what it's all about. It starts and then ends there. I can't tell you how much it means to me to have you with me every Saturday morning to hopefully give you something that you can turn around and apply immediately. And for that, I thank you. I keep getting a lot of the condolences. Thank you to everybody. If I don't get a chance to respond to everybody, I really, really say that just thank you for your thoughts. And again, I just wish you a safe weekend. Please stay safe. This COVID thing is the real deal. I don't want anybody to go out there and in any way, shape, or form get in trouble for health-wise. So just stay home, stay safe, wear your mask, and I look forward to speaking to you again here real soon. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a wonderful and safe weekend. Bye-bye.